Hi, my name's Dale. I'm the head teacher and the owner of Berry English International Preschool in Saitama, Japan. And this is a video just for our lead educator position that we're putting up on various platforms at the moment to try and find someone, a key member of our team. To give you a little information about us, we're a childcare centre in Saitama in Kawagoe, which is a lovely city just outside. It's on the Saiko line. You have to take a bus to get here. Depending on where you are, commuting from Tokyo might be a little difficult. So before you apply, please look to see how long it will take for you to get here, if it's actually practical to commute here. But it's in a lovely area. It's nice and quiet. We have a forest nearby that we have a plot of land in, and we are basically, what we're trying to do, we're trying to be a little different to other preschools that are out there. And what we're to boil it down to its most basic form is that we are trying to create a kindergarten that could be in England, in Japan. So what we're trying to do, we run the whole school by the EYFS framework, which is the Early Years Foundation Scheme, and that is the curriculum that every single school and childcare centre in the UK has to use. And all it is a framework. So it's a range of statements. It's statements that say, can use appropriate tools effectively at whatever age. And so it's broken down into various subjects. So it'll be personal, social and emotional development. It'll be physical development, which will be fine motor skills and gross motor skills. It's the managing feelings and behavior, math. It encompasses all the tools that a young child needs to experience before they go on to further education, or further education in their sense, going on to elementary school. And I suppose the biggest difference is that we try to take it not from an English learning or a language learning perspective. We take it from a early childhood development perspective. So we just act as if we are in England. We are teaching in a kindergarten in England, and so all the qualities that a teacher in a preschool would need in the UK, I keep saying England, but in the UK, or anywhere in the world in an English language speaking country. You look at the qualities of the individual child, where they need work, where they need nurturing, where they are secure, where you can intervene to help bring them up and get the most out of this child. And that doesn't just mean language skills. So obviously social skills are a massive part of it. And so if you have lots of experience in international preschools in Japan, that's great. It's very transferable. But we do things very differently here. It's not about how many books they read, how many textbooks they get through. It's about giving them experiences that let them use the qualities that they have. And English will come as part of that experience. We've had very good results using this. We have children here that are near native level because we're not constantly focusing on testing the child's ability to answer questions. It's not a Q&A style environment. It's more of an educator is a guide. And so an educator comes into the classroom setting with something for the children to do. So it might be an activity, it might be it could be a game, it could be anything. And the teacher's job, or the educator, or the practitioner, as they call it in EYFS usually, their job is to be an instigator, be a catalyst, to try and group children together, put them in a situation, see what they can do, and see how you can help them go on to the next level of what they're doing. So to give you an example, using Play-Doh. Now, Play-Doh, just as a lesson plan, seems a bit weak, right? You've not put much thought into it, but actually just getting the Play-Doh out, seeing what creative skills they have already, and looking at individual children, well, this child just is constantly looking at the child next to them to see what are they doing. I'm going to copy them. So okay, they need some work in independent creativity. So then what you think about for the next time that you bring it out is how can I try and get that child to be thinking by themselves? And all the language that you use in nurturing that, and in the children playing and in the children interacting, those are going to come, that will be the language part of it. So we just act as if we're a preschool, but with a high ratio of English as an additional language speakers. That is the method that we use. And so for a lead educator, what I need is someone to help control the classroom setting. So we operate an open classroom environment, so the children are together. So we have the youngest children with the oldest children for some part of the day. And so the teachers need to work together, and we're kind of like a family. So the children build great relationships between themselves. The older children need to learn that they need to be careful with the smaller children, and that they have to interact with them in a different way to what they would interact with their peers. And the younger children get to see what it is to be a big boy or girl, to look at the older children, look at the children that are more developed, and see where they're going. And so everything is based around early childhood development. So the more experience or the more interest you have in the subject of early childhood development, the better. It's not so much what experience of books and different leveled readers and different language acquisition approaches that you know about, how well you can teach lessons. It's more about getting into the minds of these children and helping nurture them, instigating them, being the creator of worlds. So you take something that may be boring and you add life to it, and you give the children an opportunity to teach themselves. So a lot of Montessori, a lot of, my mind's gone blank because the camera's in front of me, but the Kashner's linguistic acquisition approaches, all of these things are great, but at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're coming in at an equal level to them, and you're the guy or girl that comes in with something interesting to do. And they're like, oh, look, the teacher's here. Oh, what are we going to do today? Not, what do I have to do to please the teacher? So the motivation is interacting with their peers, not so much pleasing the teacher or getting the grades. And that is, we need a lead educator that understands that, or wants to understand that, and can help shape our school. I opened the school in 2014. We're slowly getting to where we need to be. We have a maximum capacity of 20 in the preschool. We currently have 16 children. Our first batch of graduates will be graduating this March. And I have to say, the ones that I'm very happy with what we've done here for the children. They're very confident, they're kind, they're well-rounded, great people. And I'd like to think that we've had something to do with that. And it's about helping these children get the best start in their experience of education. So, if you are someone that enjoys teaching young children, so you come into what you want to make the place look pretty, you want to make, you want to see these children smiling every day, you want to see them improve, you want to do what you can for these children that are in your care, and you have a way with people, because we have teachers from various different cultures that are working together as a team. And one of the duties of the lead educator is to be my eyes and ears inside the classroom, or our, as the management's, eyes and ears inside the classroom. So making sure that our vision is realized and that everything is going towards what we aim for. which is having children come in, experience things they wouldn't normally be able to experience, get a well-rounded curriculum, experience a well-rounded curriculum, and graduate with all the tools that they need and more for elementary education. So if you are someone that has great skills in experience from other preschools, that's fantastic, but you'd still have to learn. It's very different because this would be more like getting a job in a reception or grade 1, key stage 1 school in the UK. So you'd be looking more at real teaching, real educating experience. So you're looking at the best ways to give children self-confidence, self-motivation. So for the children to be able to find answers for themselves rather than waiting for the answer to be given to them. These are all the things that you need to aim for. And if you're the type of person that's like, yeah, I want that challenge and that is what education is for me, then we really want to hear from you. Not, I can speak English, give me the job. It's more than that. It's an interest in child psychology, early childhood development and education, as well as language acquisition. The best person, the ideal candidate, will be someone with experience of learning a language. I personally speak Japanese fluently, and I believe that is a key part. It's a key tool. It's something that you can use. That experience that you had learning a language is something that you can use and apply for children that are learning a new language. But all of the language acquisition stuff should be in the background. It's not, you need to learn more vocabulary, or the child isn't directly seeing this as a subject. English isn't a subject, it's the language that we're happening to use in this school. And so we have no Japanese in the school. We don't speak Japanese in school. We can, but this just isn't the place we do it. I think the best analogy I've come up with is the way we treat it isn't, you're not allowed to speak Japanese, don't speak Japanese, speak Japanese and get out. It's not that. It's more, if someone speaks Japanese, it's like they've just put their shoes in the fridge. It's just strange. It's like, what? This is an English place. So what are you doing? Like, it's more of it's just not done here. And using that mentality, we tend to find that even the most stubborn of children, within a week, they've stopped using Japanese in the classroom and they've started full immersion development, which is the same as if you were to take a child, set them on a plane, send them to an English-speaking country, they would have to communicate in that language. And that's where the real learning begins. That's when you're speaking not because you've been asked a question, you're speaking because I really want to talk to this boy or this girl and I really want to tell them this. How can I do that? And then your motivation then is to communicate with another human being. And that's how you get relevant, fluent communication from a young child. Yes, they won't be able to spell long words. They might if they have an interest in it. It's about one of your jobs is to give them an interest in certain things. If you are a hero in their life, someone you see every day, someone that they want to make happy, and you come in and you say, oh, I love books. Books are my favorite thing to do. When they ask you, what do you like? You say, oh, I love books. Then these children are going to want to emulate you, and they're more likely to say, I like books too. So that's the type of manipulation that you can use to help them gain interest in things they wouldn't ordinarily be interested in. Because every person wants to be comfortable, and they need a certain amount of motivation to try something new. And so if you understand what I'm saying here, then you're the type of person that we want to speak to. Someone who understands what I'm trying to achieve, what we're trying to achieve, and wants to be part of a small school that's trying to achieve this goal. One, we are a small school. We run with small class numbers. We have a maximum capacity of 20 for our full-time students in our care, from the ages of 2 to 6. And as such, we don't have the money that many big schools have. So if your motivations, if what motivates you to get up for work in the morning is the paycheck at the end of the month, then this might not be the best, because there's potential, but we're a fledgling school, we're only 3 years in, we're not making a profit. We aim to, certainly in the future. But if your motivation is to see how a small school works, if in the future you do want to open your own school, if you want to be an educator, if you want a slightly more relaxed environment to learn how to approach early childhood development, for example, if you want to be a teacher in your home country, or if you want to go to international schools that are based in Japan, large ones that require qualification, then this would be a good opportunity to see how it's done without government regulation on your back, making sure that, like, with Ofsted inspections and all the things that come with being a teacher in the UK, especially because we are just focused on the children. So it's what can we do to maximize what the children can get out of it. We will defend to the parents our methods. I personally, I'm in constant contact with the parents to make sure that they understand what our goals are, what we're trying to do, how we're doing it, and I'll defend the teachers whenever I can. And we actually don't have a problem with conflict with the parents, mostly because the parents do get a constant stream of communication, and I think they understand that the classic methods of drill, test, rinse, repeat, drill, test, rinse, repeat, that's not how young children learn a language, and there has to be a different approach. And my ultimate goal is to show that this approach works, expand it, and hopefully make a small difference to even a small part of Japan. So if there are things that you see in other schools run as primarily a business, schools of the juku mentality, which is the cram school mentality where English is a subject and it's just a 5-hour-a-day single subject curriculum. If you want to be able to be creative, use the things that you are good at, and like to develop yourself as an educator, please let us know. I would like to send our teachers on online courses for professional development, because we want a team of educators here that are growing and that want to stay here. I want happy teachers, happy parents, happy children, and then we'll be a happy school. But that does take time, and if you want to help grow that, you want to help add to that, and you want to feel like not just a number, not just a replaceable teacher, but as someone who is part of a growing team and part of a small business, then please let us know. We want to, you'll notice in most schools that they offer a flat salary and they don't offer bonuses. We're trying out a bonus scheme where you have a regular income, and then you have bonuses per school term, based on performance, to help you be motivated to not just turn up to work every day, but to go the extra mile to improve. And that would be to a maximum of 1 month's salary bonus, and a minimum of nothing. If you're taking unauthorized absences, or your heart's not in it, you're just clocking in and clocking out, coming in a minute before your shift starts and leaving 2 minutes before it ends. I'm trying to find the best way to motivate people and to make it more fair, because if everybody's getting a flat salary, then it doesn't matter how much your effort you're putting into it, you're still getting the same out of it, you're still getting the same salary out of it. Whereas with the bonus system, what we can do, we can look at this is a valuable asset. We want to keep this person, and we can use that bonus scheme to keep that person. This is quite a long video. I'm trying to go through as much as I can. But now that I've got through that, I'll say a few things about our school. We have 3 main classrooms that have partitions that we can drop down. You can look at our YouTube channel, which you'll be able to see some of what is inside the classroom. We have a plot of land at the forest that I'm trying, when I get the chance, to develop and make into a playground or a nature play area where the children can actually play within nature rather than a concrete playground. So they have to they have to worry about sticks and twigs on the ground, uneven ground, even bees, bugs, all things like that. So the children learn by experience, which is the whole theme, learning by experience. You can tell a child that something's hot or something's dangerous 1,000 times, but if they actually have to handle it themselves and they get the experience of maybe getting scratched, getting a little burn or something like that, then they'll remember it forever. So it's calculated risks. We don't just throw them in a wasp's nest and let them get stung to death, but it's again about letting them experience it themselves, letting them learn themselves. And I think a forest is a great place for that. And that's not where we want to finish. We want ideas, we want to grow, we want to make this the coolest school, the best school in Saitama at least, if not Japan. And I want your ideas and what you can add to it. But what you need to do in the covering letter is show what your motivation is and be honest from the outright. From day one, honesty, this is what I expect from a job, this is what I want from a job, and can you provide it? Yes or no. But if you just say what you need to say, give us all the promises in the world, enter the company and all the promises go out the window, then we've both wasted our time. So have a look at the school, have a look at what we've done so far. It's by no means a measure of what we can do, because the more I'm freed up by having a lead educator, which would be a middle management role. You would have your own class, but you'd also be in charge of making sure that so it'd be a kind of part human resources, part supervisory, part teacher, educator, trainer. There is a lot to this role, and so I'm looking for a special person. I'm looking for someone with a very similar outlook to education as me. Or as a teacher in the UK. If you want to do a little bit of research on EYFS and how it's applied, you can look at, there's a writer, Alistair Bryce Clegg, who makes many good books that I've personally read, and I agree with most of what he says. There are some things that obviously I don't necessarily agree with, but it gives you a very good insight. So if you search Amazon for Alistair Bryce Clegg, is that Get Them Talking, Get Them Learning is a good book, or Best Practices in the EYFS Classroom is another one. But you'll get a good idea of the attitude towards learning. It's a child-centered learning experience. It's like, how can we get these children, like, let's get excited about it. Let's give them something interesting. Let's make every day slightly different. That's the outlook. So at the moment, our schedule is the first hour are learning centres. So we put various learning centres out in 2 of the classrooms. We've removed the wall from the middle of it and using it as one large classroom. And we put a literacy centre, an art centre, a reading centre, and then a game centre, something a little easier, and then something for the small children out. And the children can choose what they want to do. But the teachers are planning and deciding what they're putting out each day. So if there are a number of children that are stuck to the Lego blocks, constantly looking at the Lego blocks, then you don't put out the Lego blocks, you put out something else to try and make them try something new. Because the best skill you can give them is the ability to approach something new confidently, and realize that you have to try at something to get better at it. And so things take time sometimes. But yeah, so 9 till 10 is the learning centre time. From 10 o'clock we have song and dance time. So the children will then sing and dance to a range of songs that the teachers choose. These can be anything, but it's 30 minutes of singing and dancing. We use a lot of the Just Dance things, we use a lot of pop songs. We also use some of the simple learning songs, like super simple songs, or well, a lot of the language learning songs that if you have experience in international preschools, you definitely would have heard. Then from 10:30 to 11, we separate for good morning time, which is a circle time. So the upper school will go and have a more involved discussion, but it's mostly about discussion. So giving the children time to talk, a chance to talk. If you look on our YouTube channel, I think there's a random video of just us chatting during good morning time. Then the middle class, it will be more circle time, classic circle time games. So we have some books with circle time ideas, different activities, because they tend to need to be slightly more led. And then the youngest children will be fully guided, really. Just different activities, something that's age relevant, because these are 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds that don't have necessarily the communication skills to be able to discuss what they did over the weekend, but they can certainly play games and have some fun. So that runs till 11, and then from 11 till 12, the classes separately, so those 3 levels at the moment, but each year we decide on the classes based on level and age. At the moment from 11 till 12, that's our lesson time. So that's the time, or activity time, however you want to put it. But that's where we focus on our key children. So we limit the class sizes to 6 per teacher. Things are a bit crazy at the moment. We are short-staffed, but it's still 6, 6, and then 4. So 6 in the upper class, 6 in the middle class, and then 4 in the baby class, the smallest class. Then, for that hour, you decide how you want to spend that time. It could be a nature walk, it could be reading, writing, math. It can be whatever your children need. And then 12 o'clock, everybody gets together to eat lunch. We like to watch cartoons and TV shows from the UK, US, English-speaking countries. Not necessarily learn educational TV shows, but something with substance, and hopefully something where they can get a hero, a character they enjoy, someone that they can look up to and want to emulate. I have a British accent, but most of my students, they don't speak with a British accent. Usually they'll emulate a character that I've introduced them to, or other children around them, or they might have a slight British twang to their accent, but mostly they emulate each other, and then heroes from TV, characters, and other people in their lives. And so we like to watch something, or listen to something, or discuss something during lunchtime, because we're all eating. It's around the dinner table kind of thing. Then from 1 o'clock, we try to go outside as much as we can. We have a play area upstairs, which is rather small. It's a bit small for 16 children, but we can develop on it, and maybe given some time, we can make it a little bit more efficient. We also have a school bus where we can take 12 children to the park. So what will often happen is 2 classes will go to the park, and the other class will play upstairs, and then we'll rotate that. Usually the smallest children are happy with playing upstairs. Just to be outside in the fresh air is fine for them. And then 2 o'clock, everybody goes home. Well, the children go home. The hours are based around 8 till 4, but the hours you must be here are obviously between 9 and 2 when the children are here. But there's a certain amount of time management that you have to do, because some things may require more time. If you're somebody that has packed afternoon lessons and private lessons into every minute of the day to earn extra money and such, it might be difficult to be as flexible as the person that we need, because we may need, for example, if we have an event the following day, we had one teacher that wasn't here, so we were here till 9:30 at night trying to prepare for the Christmas play Christmas show the next day. Which, I mean, if you're just like, no, 4 o'clock, clock out, that's not really going to work. So the Christmas show would just be half baked. But so a certain amount of flexibility, but we will be as flexible as we can. If there's something, if you have lessons or another job or something like that, we will try to work around it if we get the same level of dedication from yourself, if you're a valuable asset. So I want to surround myself with valuable teachers, valuable educators, valuable members of the team, and not just disposable 1 year working holiday visa, just English speakers. What I'm looking for is valuable people that we want to hang on to, and that and obviously money, everybody needs to pay the bills. We want to invest in those people, not straight away, what's the maximum we can pay this person? Bang, get it off. Give you 350,000 from the beginning, because there's nowhere to go from there. So you wouldn't enter a company at the maximum wage that you can achieve. So if you realize that you're coming into a company on promises and words, as you may know, they don't often come to fruition. So if you don't mind a certain amount of apprehension from us, but if you try hard, if you want to try hard, you're dedicated, you work well with people, and you're a true educator, then we will hang on to you with both hands. I think that's it. That's all I wanted to go through. There's a day in Bury English there. This has gone on for 30 minutes. If you've watched this entire video, then well done to you. But I think that's it. So I wish you the best of luck. I hope to hear from some of you soon. And thank you very much. Goodbye.